Chosen one, I am going to say this once, and I need you to hear it as a fact, not as encouragement. What you have been asking God to confirm, He already has. The answer you were waiting for is not still forming in heaven. It has been decided, sealed, and released. And the reason this word is reaching you at this specific moment is because you are finally ready to receive it without rationalizing it away. There is a reality your spirit has known for a long time, even when your mind could not prove it. That quiet conviction that kept refusing to die, even in the months when nothing in your life gave you a reason to hope. That conviction was not denial. It was accurate. It was a deposit. A guarantee that the promise was real, even when the timeline felt broken. Today, the deposit is becoming the full inheritance. The waiting is finished. The delay is closed. Your time to shine is not approaching the horizon, it has crossed it. And nothing assembled, whispered, or attempted against this moment has the authority to reverse what God has already confirmed. Stay with me. I am about to show you exactly what He has signed off on. Two things are about to happen in the time we spend together here. The first, I am going to walk you through the 5 specific signs that God has already placed in your life as your confirmation, not vague feelings. 5 unmistakable markers your spirit has been trying to show you. The second, before this ends, I will lead you through a declaration that seals this shift permanently into your life. 5 signs, 1 seal. That is the promise of what you are about to hear. It is early morning. You have just opened your eyes a few seconds before the alarm would have gone off. The room is still, dim, but the first line of light has begun to slip through the edge of the window, laying itself quietly across the floor. There is a question sitting in your chest. You have carried this question for longer than you want to admit. It has followed you into rooms, into conversations, into prayers that started strong and ended in silence. The question is simple. Is anything actually going to change? The house is quiet. The rest of the world has not started yet. And into that quiet, into this exact moment, something is about to be spoken over your life. Before we go any deeper, I need you to hear me on something. What I am going to share with you over the next little while is not a pep talk. By the time we reach the end of this, you will walk away with the 5 signs God has already confirmed over your life. A simple tool that takes 10 minutes a day that helps you stop missing what is already in motion. A complete reframe of the hidden season. You have just walked through that closes the wound of feeling forgotten, and a sealing declaration that changes the atmosphere around every step you take next. If you are tired, if you almost clicked away a minute ago, stay, because what comes next was prepared for this exact moment in your life. You will feel it by the time we finish. I want to begin by naming what you just walked through, because you cannot step into a new season while the old one is still unvalidated inside you. You have been in a hidden season. I do not need to explain to you what I mean by that word, because the moment I say it, something in you already recognizes the meaning. You know the exact stretch of time I am talking about. It was the season where you watched almost everyone else's life move forward while yours felt stuck in a frame. Promotions announced, relationships forming, people getting what they had been asking for, and you showing up day after day to a life that did not seem to be changing at all. You kept praying. You kept showing up. And for a long time, nothing visible answered back. Some of you were hidden while caring for someone who could not care for themselves. Some of you were hidden while rebuilding after a collapse that took more from you than you have told anyone. Some of you were hidden inside a marriage, a job, a family system surrounded by people every single day, and yet not one of them actually saw what you were carrying underneath. The loneliness of that season was not the kind you can fix by being around more people. It was the loneliness of walking through something that made you different in a way only God seemed to understand. That was real. I am not here to minimize it. I am here to tell you what was actually happening inside it. You didn't know that the silence of that season was not God's absence. It was God's architecture. What felt like him withdrawing was actually him building, quietly, underneath your life, the foundation your next season is going to stand on. The silence was not abandonment. It was construction happening in a place your eyes could not reach. You didn't know that every single time you almost gave up, and didn't every single time something was being deposited into you that could not be deposited any other way. Not through a sermon, not through a book, not through community, only through the specific weight of staying faithful in a place where there was no applause, no audience, no confirmation that it mattered. That faithfulness was not wasted. It was deposit. You didn't know that the people who should have recognized you in that season, and didn't the ones who looked right past you, the ones who got what you were praying for before you did, the ones who seemed blind to what you were carrying, that was not a failure of your visibility. That was protection. Because if they had recognized you then, they would have pulled you up onto a platform your roots were not yet deep enough to hold. And the same people who would have elevated you early would have been the first to watch you fall when the weight of it cracked you open. Heaven was not going to let that happen to you. You didn't know that the hidden season was not the punishment for something you did wrong. It was the preparation for something you are about to receive. And the version of you that is needed for what is coming, the level of steadiness, the level of discernment, the level of not flinching when the light finally hits, that version of you did not exist before the hiding. It exists now because of the hiding, not in spite of it. So you kept going, not because you had proof, not because the circumstances gave you a reason. You kept going because there was a conviction inside you that nothing in the visible world could explain. And that conviction was not your imagination. It was real, and it was being honored above your head the whole time, even when you could not feel it. Here is what I need you to understand before we take the next step together. If the hidden season had a purpose, then the exit from the hidden season also has a signal. Heaven does not move you from preparation to manifestation without telling you it is time. God is not going to hand you the shine and then leave you guessing whether it is actually yours. There are markers. There are signs. There is a pattern. And those signs are not in the future. They are already in your life, right now, in the last weeks and months, if you know what you are looking at. There are 5 of them, specific, unmistakable, already present, and once I walk you through them, you will not be able to unsee them. The confirmation you have been asking God for has been sitting in front of you the whole time. You simply did not have the frame to recognize it. If what I just said named a season you have actually walked through, type 2 words in the comments. I see it, not as a performance, as a small agreement between you and God that you are ready to see what comes next. But there is one thing you need to understand before I show you the first sign, because without this one piece, you will miss the confirmation even when it is standing directly in front of you. And I cannot let you miss it, not today. Here is the piece most people miss. Confirmation from God almost never arrives the way we imagine it will. We picture a burning bush, a loud voice, an unmistakable sign in the sky that leaves no room for doubt. And because that is what we are scanning for, we look right past the way confirmation actually shows up most of the time, which is through pattern recognition, quiet inner settling, and unlikely access. It is the same reason that inside a brain entrainment lab, people sometimes do not notice their own state shifting until 20 minutes in. The signal is present the whole time. The mind is simply listening for the wrong kind of evidence. In fact, much of the deeper research being done into how chosen ones recover what a hidden season suppressed, a body of work that maps a full arc of restoration across several distinct phases, begins with exactly this problem. We have been trained to look for drama, and we miss the whisper that is already confirming us. That is why so many chosen ones are in the middle of their confirmation season and still asking if it is coming. It is not coming. It is already here. But until you have the frame, you will walk past it 5 times a day. So I am going to give you the frame, 5 signs, one at a time. The first sign of divine confirmation is unlikely doors opening quietly. This one almost never looks like what you are expecting. It is not a thunderclap. It is not a dramatic breakthrough that everyone around you celebrates. It is the opposite. It is small, easy to dismiss, and often happens in a moment when you were not even asking. A door opens. A conversation starts that should not have started. A person you barely know mentions your name in a room you are not in. An opportunity arrives in your inbox through a sequence of events you did not design, and because it came quietly, because no one announced it, your first reaction is often to question whether it even counts. Here is why it counts. Doors that are simply luck tend to require you to fight to hold them open. Doors that are divine confirmation have a particular quality. They open without your striving. They stay open without your performance. And they feel less like an achievement and more like something being handed to you. If you look at the last 4 to 6 weeks of your life and you can point to even one door that opened this way, that was not coincidence. That was heaven telling you the hidden season has ended. The second sign is one you might have already noticed without recognizing what you were noticing. There is a specific fear that used to run your life. I cannot tell you what yours is, but you know it. It is the fear that made you small in certain rooms. It is the fear that kept you silent when you had something to say. It is the fear that had a grip on you for years. And in the last season, something changed. It still shows up. It still visits. But it no longer controls the action the way it used to. This is not because you became braver through effort. It is because something in your underlying architecture has already shifted. Researchers studying cognitive resilience, the kind of work connected to protocols like the youthful brain, have documented that when a person's nervous system actually enters a new season of readiness, fear does not disappear. It simply stops having authority. You do not have to add courage on top of yourself. You have to notice what has already been removed from underneath you. If a fear that used to stop you 6 months ago now feels loud but powerless, if it still speaks but no longer drives, that is confirmation. Your internal system has already moved into the next season. The circumstances are just catching up. The third sign is people showing up with exactly what you need before you ever ask for it. This is one of the most unmistakable markers of a confirmed season, and it almost always happens in clusters. A person calls at the exact moment you were in the middle of a question. A stranger says something in passing that lands like an answer. Someone who has no context for what you are walking through hands you a resource, a book, a referral, a name, a sentence, and it fits. 1 instance is coincidence. 2 instances is a pattern worth noticing. 3 instances, in a short window, is heaven intervening directly. When God confirms a new season, He does not usually announce it by changing all your circumstances at once. He announces it by sending the right people into your proximity and letting them say what you needed to hear without you ever having to explain yourself. If you look at the last weeks of your life and you can count 3 moments where someone brought you something they had no way of knowing you needed, pay attention. That is not chance. That is deployment. Your confirmation has been arriving through people who did not even know they were being sent. If any of the first three have already shown up in your life, type 2 words in the comments, "I've seen it." Let that be a small agreement with what is already happening. The fourth sign is one that confuses most chosen ones, because it looks at first like something is wrong. In a confirmed season, your clarity about what you will not do arrives before your clarity about what you will do. And because we have been trained to look for vision, the big picture, the 5-year plan, the step-by-step blueprint, we miss that God is actually speaking to us in the opposite direction first. You find yourself no longer willing to tolerate things you used to tolerate. Certain conversations stop feeling acceptable. Certain commitments feel wrong the moment you are about to agree to them. A version of your life you were about to step back into suddenly becomes unthinkable. You do not have a clear replacement yet, but something in you is drawing lines where there used to be open doors. This is not indecision, this is subtraction. Before God can give you the new season in full color, He has to remove the things that would compete with it. The no's arrive first because they clear the runway. And the people around you who do not understand what is happening may read this season as you becoming difficult or distant. What is actually happening is that you are becoming discerning. Your filter has upgraded because your calling is coming online. The fifth sign, and this one is the most tender, is that the old dream has started to feel smaller than what is actually being offered to you. For years you had a dream, you held it carefully, you prayed over it specifically, you imagined what it would feel like to see it come true. And now, in the last stretch of months, something unexpected has happened. You sit with that same dream, and it still matters, but it no longer fills the room the way it used to. Not because it failed. Because your spirit has been quietly enlarging. The old dream was accurate for the version of you that first received it, but the version of you that walked through the hidden season is larger. And the calling that was being prepared in you during that season is bigger than what you originally asked for. When you imagine the full realization of your first dream now, something in you whispers, there is more than this. That whisper is not ingratitude, it is capacity growing. God will often confirm a new season, not by giving you the thing you asked for, but by enlarging the ask. The original dream still gets fulfilled, but it gets fulfilled inside a larger container. If you notice your imagination reaching past what you used to settle for, that is not distraction. That is confirmation of a promotion you have not yet accepted. Now, let me tell you what was actually being built in the hiding, because once you see it, every sign I just listed will lock into place. You know the story of David. The prophet Samuel walked into the house of Jesse, looked past 7 older brothers, and called for the youngest, the one who was out with the sheep, the one nobody thought to invite. Samuel poured oil on his head in front of his entire family and anointed him as the future king of Israel. And here is the part of the story most people skip. The next day, David went back to the sheep. He had just been anointed. He had just received a confirmation that should have changed everything. And what did he do? He returned to a hidden field, to a job that paid nothing in recognition, to a life that on the outside looked exactly the same as it had the day before. Years passed. Saul tried to kill him. He ran. He hid in caves. He lost people he loved. He grieved. He kept showing up. By the time the crown actually came, David was not the untested boy with oil on his forehead. He was tempered steel. The years between anointing and enthronement were not delay. They were reinforcement. The hiding was not the opposite of the calling. The hiding was the making of the king. What was true for him is true for you. The season you just walked through did not take you further from the shine. It built the shoulders that are about to carry it. Before we go any further, if this is landing, if any of what we have walked through so far named something that is actually happening in your life right now, gently press the like button, not for me, so that this word can find another chosen one who has been asking God for a sign and is about to scroll past the answer. Let me show you what this looks like in a normal life. There is a woman I want to tell you about. She is in her early 40s. 10 years ago, she felt a very specific calling on her life, teaching, leading, a particular kind of public service. She pursued it for a while. Then her family went through a hard stretch that demanded everything from her. 7 years passed. Somewhere in that stretch, she stopped journaling about the calling. She stopped expecting it. She assumed, quietly, that the window had closed. One Tuesday morning last November, an email arrived in her inbox, unsolicited, from someone she had not spoken to in years, asking her to teach something she had stopped calling herself. 3 weeks later, she was doing it. Later, she told a friend that the sign she had missed, the thing that should have told her it was coming, was how quiet her anxiety had become in the 6 weeks before that email arrived. And I hear the Father saying this over you right now. I did not hide you to hurt you. I hid you to heighten you. Take a breath. What we just walked through was the truth that shifts everything. But now, I have to tell you what usually happens right after this truth settles, and why most chosen ones stumble at this exact point, even after the confirmation has already arrived. The reason most chosen ones stumble at this exact point is not because the confirmation was unclear. It is because the confirmation arrived faster than their ability to believe they actually deserved it. There is a word in ancient Hebrew that changes how you read the moment you are standing in right now. The word is kum, spelled Q-U-M. It does not mean stand up slowly. It does not mean think about standing. It is a commanding verb. It means arise, sharply, without negotiation, without more delay. This is the word used when Boaz tells Ruth to rise in the night. This is the word carried into Greek when the angel breaks into Peter's prison cell and tells him to stand up as the chains fall off his wrists. It is the verb spoken over every person in Scripture who was in a stuck or hidden place and whose stuck place was finished in a single moment. And I hear the Father speaking that same verb over your life right now. Come, arise. The season that was meant to end you has ended instead. A threshold moment asks 2 questions of you, and most people never notice they are being asked. The first question is whether you will leave the tools that kept you alive in the hidden season. The tools of staying small, staying quiet, staying unseen. These are not shameful tools. They were the right tools for that specific time. They carried you through. But they are not the tools of the visible season. You cannot walk into shine, still wearing a coat of invisibility. The second question is harder. Will you carry what was given to you inside the hidden season into a place where those lessons now belong to other people? The discernment you earned in the quiet. The depth you built when no one was watching. The intimacy with God that only long silence can forge. All of that was deposit, and the deposit is now being asked to go to work. Standing in a threshold is not comfortable. Most people assume that the moment of crossing will feel like celebration. It almost never does. It feels like the strangest combination of relief and terror you have ever known. And here is what I need you to understand about the terror part. It is not cowardice. It is not lack of faith. It is the reasonable response of someone who has just realized that the breakthrough they asked God for is actually coming to collect. You know the story of Esther. She was placed inside the palace, favored, chosen, positioned quietly for years before anyone understood why. And when the moment finally came for her to stand up and speak, the moment her entire life had been preparing her for, she was terrified. She understood, clearly, what it could cost her. The law said that anyone who approached the king uninvited could be killed. She had watched what happened to the queen before her. Her fear was not a failure of character. It was the honest reckoning of a woman who had finally understood that her life was being used for something bigger than her own survival. Mordecai's words to her were not harsh, they were surgical. He told her, "Perhaps you were brought to this exact position for this exact moment, and staying silent will not save you. Hiding inside a palace you were sent into for a purpose will cost you more than speaking ever could." She went, she spoke, everything changed. Not only for her, for an entire nation. Here is what that story tells us about the moment you are walking into right now. Your fear of the breakthrough is not a lack of faith. It is the reasonable response of someone who has started to feel the actual weight of the calling. That is not disqualifying, that is appropriate. Anyone who does not feel the weight has not understood what was handed to them. But staying small will not protect you. It will only postpone you. And the postponement has its own cost. The cost of watching yourself shrink one more year, while the people you were sent to reach wait in rooms you were supposed to be walking into already. So, I want to speak some permissions over your life right now. Not suggestions, permissions, the kind that close the argument your fear has been having with your calling for too long. You have permission to let the breakthrough scare you and still walk straight into it anyway. Fear and obedience are allowed to share a room. You do not have to wait until you feel ready, because readiness in the visible season is not a feeling, it is a decision. You have permission to actually want what you have been asking for. Wanting it does not make you greedy. It does not make you arrogant. It makes you honest. And heaven can only hand the full answer to someone who is honest about wanting it. You have permission to stop making yourself smaller so that the people around you stay comfortable. The people who need you to shrink are not the people you were sent to serve. The ones you were sent for are waiting for the full version of you, not the reduced version. You have permission to let your family, your friends, your circle, the ones who got used to the quieter, hidden version of you, reorient themselves to the version of you that is now standing up. It is not your job to suppress yourself so they do not have to adjust. They will catch up. And the ones who cannot catch up were never part of this next chapter anyway. You have permission to rise. Let me pause for a moment. You have been with me for a while now, longer than most people stay with anything in their day. I want you to notice that, not as an accomplishment, just as a fact. You did not click away when you had every reason to. Something kept you here. That something has a name, and that name is why this word is actually for you, not for the person who needed a pep talk, for the person who needed the truth to land somewhere inside them where it could not be unsaid. Before we continue, take one slow breath with me, not to fix anything, not to release anything, just to be here, in this specific minute of your life, with your attention present. One more. All right, now let me tell you what comes next. Because conviction, without a tool, evaporates by next Tuesday morning. And I am not going to leave you with a beautiful moment and no way to hold on to it when the week gets heavy again. In the next few minutes, I am going to give you a simple practice. 10 minutes a day, 3 questions. One of them is going to feel counterintuitive, meaning the moment I say it, part of you will want to dismiss it as too small. Do not dismiss it. That one is the question that reveals the most. This practice is how you stop missing what has already been confirmed. It is how you train your attention to see the answers that are already sitting in your life but slipping past you because you do not have the frame. And it is how you walk out of this with something useful in your hands, not just a feeling in your chest that fades by Thursday. If you are still with me, if you are ready to not just receive this word, but actually carry it into the rest of your week, type 2 words in the comments: I receive. Let that be your small agreement that the shine is yours and you are not going to let it walk past you one more time. Remember the 2 promises I made at the very beginning. The first one, the 5 signs of confirmation that God has already placed in your life. We walked through every single one of them together. The second promise, the sealing declaration that locks this shift permanently into your spirit, that one is coming at the end. But before we get there is something specific I can put in your hands that you can start using tomorrow morning. And that is what we are stepping into now. The practice I want to put in your hands is called the confirmation audit. It is 3 questions, 10 minutes a day, 7 days. And by the end of those 7 days, you will have more evidence of God's confirmation in your life than most people collect in a year of searching, not because the evidence was not there before, but because you did not have the frame to catch it as it was passing through. Let me walk you through each question in order, because the order matters. The first question is this: over the last 30 days, what unlikely access has opened in your life that you did not strategize for? A door, a conversation, a resource, a name that came up out of nowhere, a phone call that arrived at the exact right minute, something that showed up without you building a plan to make it show up. Write down 3 instances if you can find them. Just 3. In 3 separate lines in a notebook or a note on your phone. You are not analyzing them yet, you are just noticing them. Because confirmation you do not write down tends to evaporate inside 48 hours. Your mind normalizes it. Your mind tells you it was coincidence. And by the next week, you have forgotten that heaven spoke to you. The second question is the one I warned you about, the counterintuitive one. Here it is. What old fear has stopped working on you? Not the fears that have been completely defeated, not the ones you have overcome, the ones that still show up, still visit, but no longer have authority over your actions the way they did 6 months ago. Most people audit themselves by asking what new courage they have added. That is the wrong direction entirely. The deeper signal of a confirmed season is not what you are adding on top of yourself. It is what has been quietly removed from underneath you. A fear that used to stop you and now cannot. A voice that used to control your decisions and now just sounds like background noise. That is data. That is confirmation your internal architecture has already shifted. Write down 1. You do not need more than 1. Just 1 fear that has lost its grip, even if it still whispers sometimes. The third question is the tenderest one, and it is the one most chosen ones skip because it asks them to admit something they have been afraid to admit, even to themselves. Here is the question. When you imagine your old dream actually coming true, now, the dream you have been praying over for these years, does it still feel as big as what your spirit is quietly reaching for? Or has something in you started to reach past it? If, when you picture the fulfillment of your original prayer, something inside you whispers that there is more that is not in gratitude, that is capacity growing. Your spirit has been quietly enlarging in the hiding, and the answer God is preparing is often bigger than the original ask. Write down what the larger version might look like, even if you cannot fully explain it yet. Even if it feels too big to say out loud, that is the version you are actually being confirmed into. 3 questions, 10 minutes, every morning for 7 days. That is the entire practice. By day 3, you will start noticing. By day 7, you will not be the same person who pressed play on this video earlier today. Let me pause for a moment and tell you, plainly, what we have walked through so far. No poetry, no metaphor, just the clear version. The hidden season you walked through had a specific function in your life. It built the capacity that your next season is going to require. It was not punishment for anything you did. It was preparation for what is coming. God has already confirmed the next season. The 5 signs we walked through are present in your life right now. Unlikely, doors opening quietly, the old fear losing its authority, people showing up with what you need before you ask, your no's arriving with clarity before your yeses, and your original dream starting to feel smaller than your growing capacity. The confirmation audit is the tool that helps you catch all of it in real time instead of missing it again. You are not chasing something. You are stepping into something that has already been signed off on. That is what I needed you to hear in plain words before we move into the final piece together. And before this ends, we are going to seal all of it with something that will stay with you long after you close this page tonight. There is one more thing I want to tell you about. Because if you are going to walk into the visible season with the kind of steadiness it actually requires, there is a piece that most chosen ones are missing, and it is easier to explain through a story. There is a woman, 47 years old, who walked through a decade that looked very much like what we have been describing, a long, hidden season, a quiet confirmation that arrived on a regular Tuesday. She did the confirmation audit for a month straight, and she told me something specific that I cannot shake. She said the hardest part of stepping into her visible season was not the fear of being seen. She had made peace with being seen. The hardest part was that her body did not feel ready to carry the level of light that was suddenly being asked of her. Her energy was foggy. Her focus drifted in the middle of simple conversations. Her sleep was broken most nights. She could feel the calling. She just could not feel herself. Here is what I want you to understand about what was happening to her. When a chosen one walks through a long, hidden season, the body pays a price for the waiting. The brain slips into what researchers call a suppressed state. The frequency your mind operates at, particularly the gamma frequency, which is the one associated with clarity, insight, and the ability to hold large vision, drops below its natural level. Not because anything is wrong with you, because long stretches of uncertainty flatten the brain's natural gamma rhythm over time. And when the shine finally arrives, your body has to catch up to the calling that is already moving. Earlier in this word, I mentioned that the deeper research into how chosen ones recover from a hidden season maps a full sequence of restoration, phases, a body of work that goes far beyond what we can cover together today. This is where we touch the first phase of that sequence, the piece almost every chosen one needs and almost no one knows exists until the moment they need it. For the last several years, neuroscientists working in labs connected to MIT and Princeton have been studying what they call brain entrainment. The principle is simple. Certain audio frequencies, delivered in a very specific, engineered way, can guide the brain back into its natural gamma rhythm from the outside. This is not theory. It has been measured with EEG scans across thousands of participants. The brain does not have to learn it. The brain simply responds. The research was taken further by a man named Dr. Robert Lake, who spent years studying exactly what happens when a person's gamma frequency is deliberately reactivated after a long season of being suppressed. His finding was that the mental fog lifts faster than anyone expected. Sleep deepens, focus comes back. The person starts to feel like themselves again, but a sharper version than before. Now, I can hear the part of you that is skeptical, and that skepticism is not weakness. It is the voice of someone who has tried a lot of things and been let down more than once. Meditation, breathwork, healing frequencies floating around the internet. You have tried, and when something new shows up, you want to know, is this actually different, or is this more of the same dressed up in new language? Here is the honest answer. Meditation and most healing practices ask the brain to change itself from the inside out. That is slow, that is not guaranteed, and for a lot of people, it never fully works. Brain entrainment works from the outside in. An external, calibrated frequency is introduced, and the brain naturally synchronizes to it. It is a different mechanism entirely. Not a better version of what you have already tried. A different category of tool. I also hear the other voice inside you, the one saying, "This sounds too good to be true." I understand that voice. It is the voice of a careful, smart person who has been disappointed before. But the research is not a claim, it is measurement. Over 18,000 people have used this specific audio. The EEG data from independent labs has been consistent across every trial. You do not have to believe it on faith. You have to check it. And I know there is one more thing sitting in your mind. I can feel it. You are thinking, $39 is not nothing for me right now. And you are right, it is not nothing. For many chosen ones, $39 is a real decision that touches the grocery list. I respect that completely. I am not going to pretend it is small. What I will do is walk you through exactly what this is and what it does, and then you get to decide without any pressure from me. What Dr. Lake created is a specific audio track called the Genius Song. It is not music. It is not a meditation. It is an engineered frequency delivered through sound, designed to guide the brain back into its natural gamma state. You put on a pair of headphones, you press play, you listen for 7 minutes. That is the entire protocol. Nothing to memorize, nothing to practice, nothing to get right or wrong. Let me walk you through what the investment actually looks like. If you added up what Dr. Lake's research and development cost, you would be looking at a number in the tens of thousands of dollars. That is not the number I am going to quote you. If you added up what comparable brain entrainment products on the market charge, the average is around $120. That is not the number either. The full price of the Genius Song is $49, not $49 a month, $49 one time, and it is yours to keep. Today, through this specific door, the price is $39. One decision, one audio file you own forever, and 4 bonuses that come alongside it: an extended version for deep sleep, a shorter version for midday focus, a written guide, Dr. Lake put together on how to integrate the practice into an ordinary week, and access to a community of people already using it. I want to be clear about one thing. This is not a hierarchy of worth. The first phase is not more important than what comes later in Dr. Lake's research. They are priced differently because they serve different stages of the journey. You do not need all of them today. You need the one that matches the season you are actually standing in right now. Here is the part I want to say carefully, because I do not want to rush you. The window of a breakthrough season is not infinite. When your spirit steps into a new level of clarity, the kind of clarity you have been receiving throughout this word, there is a neuroplastic window that opens behind it. Your brain is more receptive to recalibration in the first weeks after a clarity event than it will be months down the line. The tools that work most effectively at the very beginning of a new season are not always the same tools that work years into it. If you feel the pull right now, the pull itself is the signal. The pull is not accidental, it is information. One more thing before we move on. I need to protect you from something, because whenever a tool actually works, Imitations always show up around it. If you go searching online for gamma frequency audios, you will find dozens of free options inside of a minute. Most of them are generated by software that is not calibrated the way Dr. Lake's work is calibrated. Some of them will have no measurable effect on your brain at all. A few of them, because they are miscalibrated, will actually push your nervous system in the wrong direction. I am not saying this to frighten you. I am saying it so you know the difference between the engineered product and the knockoffs. If you are going to use this kind of tool, use the actual one. Do not gamble on an unlicensed copy with your own nervous system on the line. If any of what I just walked through felt like it was speaking directly to the version of you that has been foggy while the calling has been clear, the Genius song is linked in the description and in the pinned comment. chosenfrequency.com, only if your spirit confirms. I am not going to push you. I am going to trust that you already know what you need. All right, now we walk into the part of this that seals everything. The science is settled. The signs are named. The tool is in your hands. What comes next is not teaching anymore. Let me show you what the visible season actually looks like. Because after a long hiding, the mind has a hard time picturing what shining actually feels like from the inside. You can feel that it is coming. You just cannot see the shape of it clearly, so let me make it specific for you. Shining is not performing. Let me say that again so it lands. Shining is not performing. It is not about pushing yourself into more spotlight, more pressure, more noise than you have the capacity to hold. Shining is the moment when the people you were always meant to reach can finally recognize you. It is becoming legible to the ones you were formed to serve. The exposure is not the point. The recognition is. Picture a week from now, or 2 months, or 6. The door you thought was permanently locked open, and that is confirmed. The person you had quietly given up on, reaching back toward you first, and that is confirmed. The gift you were afraid had atrophied inside the hiding as sharp as it has ever been in your life, and that is confirmed. The conversations that used to drain you happening less often because you are no longer available for them, and that is confirmed. The version of you that you had buried so deeply you believed it was gone for good, walking in the room ahead of you, and that is confirmed. This is what God has actually signed off on for your life, not a highlight reel, not a fantasy you had to manufacture to keep going. A specific unfolding where the pieces that were being hidden and prepared for years finally come online, one after another, in a sequence you did not have to engineer yourself. And here is the part that matters most. You do not have to become a different person to step into this. You have to become more fully the person you already are underneath. The visible season is not a costume. It is the removal of the coat. Everything underneath was already yours. It was yours before you doubted. It was yours. It has been yours the whole time you were convinced it had been lost. This is who you have always been. A chosen one whose shine was approved before you knew what to ask for. A name written into a record that has been waiting patiently for this exact moment to be read out loud. The reason the hiding was so long is because what is on the other side of it is so specific to you. You were not overlooked, you were being reserved, and heaven does not reserve ordinary things. Before we step into the final words together, I want to give you an image, not a prayer yet, just a picture. You can keep your eyes open or let them settle, whichever feels natural from wherever you are right now. Imagine a room, not a grand room, a simple, quiet room with soft light coming in from somewhere. In the room, there is a single wooden cabinet. You walk up to it. you open it slowly. Inside the cabinet, there is only one file, and on the file, your name is written in clean letters. Your actual name, the one only you and God know the full weight of. Now look at the stamp pressed across the front of the file. One word, in capital letters. Confirmed. You do not have to open the file. The file is not for you to read. It belongs to God to execute in its own timing. Your job is much simpler than reading it. Your job is to know, today, that the file exists, that it has been stamped, that it is real, that your name is already on it. Let that knowledge settle into you, not as a passing feeling, as a fact that stays with you long after this message ends tonight. Before I speak the final words over your life, I want to acknowledge something with you. You sat with this message for a long time, when you could have clicked away 100 times along the way. You chose to stay. You chose to listen. You chose to let something land that would have been easier to dismiss. The fact that you are still here means something your spirit already knows. You did not stumble into this moment by accident. You walked into it on purpose, even if you did not feel the walking as you did it. And that willingness to stay through the hard parts, through the quiet parts, through the parts that asked you to reckon with what you had been carrying, is the same willingness that carried you through the entire hidden season. It is not a small thing. It is the mark of a chosen one who is actually ready for what comes next. I want you to do something with me now, just in your mind, nothing you need to move for. Picture the weight you have been carrying through these last months, the weight of wondering, the weight of waiting, the weight of watching everyone else's life move forward while yours felt stuck in a frame that would not change. Let yourself see that weight clearly, as if it were a real object resting in your hands right now. Hold it for 3 slow breaths, not to keep it, to finally acknowledge it, because pretending it was not heavy does not honor what you walked through. And now, release it, not as a wish thrown into the air, not as a request you are hoping someone answers, as a deposit into the hands of the one who actually signed off on what happens next. You are not dropping it, you are handing it back to the source who can carry it from here without breaking under it. It is not yours to hold anymore. The hiding is finished. The weight has a new address. Now listen carefully. What I am about to speak is not information. It is not motivation. It is a commissioning. Sit still for it. And I hear the Father saying this directly over your life in this exact moment. Chosen one, I confirm you. I confirm the calling I placed in you before you had a name for it. I confirm the timing your mind has been questioning. I confirm the path that is opening now, even the parts you cannot yet see with your eyes. I confirm that nothing assembled, whispered, or attempted against this season of your life has the authority to reverse what I have already signed. Walk. You are commissioned, you are confirmed, you are released into a shining that was not available to the version of you that existed before the hiding. Walk forward, walk steady. Walk like someone who knows that the destiny's embrace you have been sensing, underneath everything, is not abstract. It is waiting for you in the specific steps of the week you are walking into tomorrow morning. You are not alone in this. Right now, all across the world, other chosen ones who walked through the same kind of hiding are receiving this same confirmation in their own living rooms, in their own cars, in their own quiet moments. You are part of something larger than your own life. The rising is collective. The confirmation is shared. Heaven is moving across thousands of people at the same time, and your name is in that movement. No more striving to prove what has already been approved. No more begging for what has already been signed. No more explaining yourself to people who were never sent to understand you. No more shrinking to keep rooms comfortable that you were sent to change. No more questioning what has already been answered above your head. It is sealed. And you already know, somewhere underneath every fear, that it is sealed. One more thing before you go. If the confirmation audit landed in you, if something in you said, yes, while I was walking through those 3 questions, do not let it stay a theory on a nice evening. Do it. This week. 10 minutes each morning, 3 lines on a page, 7 days. I would not have given you that tool if it was not for this exact season of your life. The tool only works when it is used, not when it is admired and forgotten. And hear me on this one last thing before we close. You are not the person you were when you pressed play on this video. Something has actually shifted inside you in the last stretch of minutes. Walk out of this moment with that shift intact. Do not let the next scroll, the next message, the next small disappointment pull the shift out of you before tomorrow morning. Keep it. If you are ready, if the confirmation is landing inside you right now, type 3 words in the comments with the force of a lion who has stopped asking for permission to roar. I am confirmed. Let that be your signature on what just happened between you and heaven. And if this word reached something in you tonight, let your like be your amen, not for me. So another chosen one, scrolling right now at this exact minute, can find this message in time. For anyone who felt the pull when we talked about the gamma recovery, the link is in the description and the pinned comment. chosenfrequency.com. Only if your spirit confirms it. I trust you to know. And before you go, I want you to do one last thing with me. If someone came to mind while you were listening, and I think you already know who I am talking about, do not ignore it. That name showing up in your mind during a word like this is not random. That is deployment. Someone who has been hidden in a season they cannot explain to anyone in their life. Someone who asked God for a sign a long time ago and has started to quietly believe the sign is never coming. Someone who has been watching everyone else's life move forward while theirs has felt stuck in the same frame for too many months. Someone who has stopped saying the dream out loud because saying it out loud hurts too much these days. If any of those descriptions land on a specific face in your mind right now, send this to them. Text it, email it, share it in whatever way makes sense for your relationship. Your share could be the exact confirmation they have been praying for in silence. It might not feel like a large act when you do it, but heaven uses small acts of obedience to deliver answers that look like miracles on the other end. Chosen one, may the morning you are stepping into be lighter than you expected it to be. May the confirmation keep arriving in ways you could not have planned for. May the calling, now online, carry you further than the hidden season ever tried to convince you was possible. You are not leaving a message tonight. You are leaving a season. Walk.